everybody, this is Ms. Brooks. I'm wearing my tab t-shirt today, and today I'm going to talk with you about texture rubbings. And I think I better hold it this way. And texture rubbings are fun to do. You don't need a lot of materials. I'm just using some recycled paper. Use the clean side of a sheet of paper. You're going to need something to rub with, and here I have a nice soft pencil. You'll see it has a long point. Even easier is a piece of broken crayon. This is a piece of black crayon, and if I take that crayon and I just rub it on my paper, now just watch. If I just pull it along the side, notice that I'm not using the traditional tip of the crayon, but the side of the crayon, and rub it a few times just on the surface of my table. Look what happens. We call that a texture. Texture is how something feels in your hand or how it looks like it would feel. And texture is everywhere in our world and in almost all works of art, whether it's smooth or rough, bumpy or furry or scratchy or leafy. Almost everything in nature, everything in the world has texture. So first thing is, you're going to want to collect your materials. So you're going to want to collect some paper that you can use. Make sure it's okay with your family. Collect some drawing materials that you can use for your rubbings. Maybe it's a pencil. I'm just going to do pencil here. And you'll see I have to hold the pencil at an angle. So I'm not using the point. Once again, it's the side of the lead. And I've got this upside down, the words. But there we go. So pencil rubbing, crayon rubbing. And so once you've got your paper and your rubbing material, you're going to want to collect some textures. What things have texture? Let's think about it. Remember I said texture's everywhere. So this was an envelope. And if you look really close, you see the ridges, the bumps. You can hold it different ways. You might like fruit, and sometimes fruit comes in a bag. Notice the texture of the bag. You might also notice that there's lines going up and down and lines going across, and there's teeny little squares, and it also looks like a pattern. Pattern and texture are related, but for now, we're just going to talk about texture. The bumpy side of cardboard. Let's see what else. Some people have these little shelf liners. This is just a little piece of flexible material. And I've got a few other things, and they even look like they would have texture, right? That looks like it has texture. Wonder how it's going to look as a rubbing. So once you've got a collection of 3 or 4 or even 5 different things that you'd like to do a rubbing of, bring them to your table, get set up. Take a piece of paper. Good. Now, what do we do with the rubbing object? We put it underneath the paper. Why do we do that? Do that because we want to capture this texture. So again, side of the drawing tool. And this is a nice big chunk of crayon, and we're just going to rub, rub, rub. The other thing you want to keep in mind as you're doing your texture rubbing is try not to move the paper. So you really have to hold it with one hand as you rub with the other, and let's take a look at how it came out. So here's the object, and there's the rubbing. Good. Well, I can do a different pattern on each page, or I can also put a bunch of patterns on a page. Once I've got a collection of rubbings, I can use them for torn paper collage, or I can use them for cut paper collage, collage being cut and arrange and make a new picture. So here I'm going to take a couple of my objects and put them underneath my paper. So we'll do this one, and this one, and this one, and place the paper on top. Remember, put the white side up, print side down, and rub, rub, rub. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to show this one to you, boys and girls. So different. Now, depending on how hard you press, you can get a different effect. So I'm going to show you some variations in dark and light here. and a few other things. Sometimes things come out better than you think, and sometimes they don't come out as good, so don't worry about it. 3 different textures. What words would you use to describe them? Now here's something else. If you have glue at home, any kind of glue, what you can do with your texture is you can actually make a little rubbing plate. And this is just the back of a little yellow cardboard pad, a little legal pad. And I've arranged some shapes, glued them down. And for my last demo this morning, I am going to rub that as a picture. So I need to get another piece of paper, and it just happens I'll use my sketch pad. Now, any kind of paper can work, but it's always nice if the paper doesn't have anything written on it, because then that won't interfere with your design. So paper and plate. I'm going to place it where? On top, right? Not underneath, because if you put it underneath, it's not going to work. On top. And now I'm going to start rubbing. Remembering to hold down my paper. All right, I'm holding it down here. I want to make sure you can see. Angle that down a little bit there. Rub, rub, rub. Rub, rub, rub. Let's try a little pencil. And it's really fun. Boys and girls, you can also go on a scavenger hunt around your house and just look for different textures that you might be able to find. Maybe it's tile in your kitchen or in the bathroom. Could be bumpy wallpaper, maybe the bottom of your shoe. Use your imagination. You can be a texture detective. We've got some great activities on our handouts for MSAD 75. And I know that you're going to discover some things that you never tried before that you might really like. So I just want to say this paper is a little thicker than the other paper, but starts to become kind of interesting. And there's also some disappointments. Some things did not show the way I hoped they would. So that's really interesting. I don't get too discouraged. Remember that you can always turn a mistake into a happy accident.